Hi, everybody. So we've been of Alchemy. I'm Rick Barrett. Welcome. Last week, we took a look at self-training Jin and doing it with Peng Jin. That is the energy that animates a ward-off posture in a Taiji form. And so Peng Jin is an up-and-out kind of energy. And so just to clarify, particularly for people just tuning in, the idea of Jin is that it's usually translated as internal power, but it's perhaps a little clearer would be to say that it's your chi, which is directed by your consciousness and expressed through your body, and that can be done in a wide variety of different ways. But there are some standard ways that we think of in terms of Taiji. The primary Jins, the first basic ones first four are Peng, Lu Jin, which is we usually label them as ward off, roll back, press, and push. And then we go from there. So forms your foundation for the energies of Taiji. And so you're going to see those names of ward off, roll back, press, and push, and repeated many times, usually in a Taijiquan form. So and that's because we really want to practice those, and we express through those forms, we train through those forms, but that's not the limitation on the expression of those energies. In fact, those energies can be expressed in numerous ways and different directions. And so but getting a handle on it requires practicing it and having that as part of your form. It's like, okay, every time I'm doing a ward-off posture, which, I'll be standing up, it'll be something like this with the arm curved in front of the chest and hand either here or down to the side. And I'm doing it in a way that expresses this Peng Jin, this up and out, this expansive, young, up and out energy. So the next one in line is Lu, which is, I've seen it spelled different ways, but, I like as Lu is an opinion way of doing it. Some people Liu or Lui, and it's kind of there's kind of an E, a new kind of sound to it, which, but for our purposes, we're just going to say Lu. And so this Lu Jin is kind of the opposite of the up and out yang of the Peng, and it goes down and in. And again, that can be expressed in a number of different ways. Particularly, you can take it down into the side, but also can be just, you can take the energy straight back even. But the idea is you're doing it with Jin. It's not just a collapse of the system. It's just not we oftentimes translate it as yielding, but yielding is not quite it. We want to take that energy and we want to eat the chi. We want to take that, and we're borrowing from the incoming, and then from there we can then express other directions. But it also, when we take that in, we direct it in a way that we neutralize the incoming force. So we're going to look into that, and first of all, we'll repeat the exercise we did last week, which is we're just learning how to self-train this, because it's really important. Particularly for those of us who may not have a partner really easily at hand, so that you can at least get the idea, and that being able to identify these chins then is a step toward becoming more and more aware and familiar with the insubstantialities of your being, the being able to really get familiar with them so that you are less and less identified with just your body, and you become more familiar with yourself as an energy being, or as a, even beyond that, your spirit. But it's a gradual process of familiarizing yourself with insubstantiality. We have everything has some aspects of substantial and insubstantial to it. And so it's always, they're just like yang and yin, they do a little dance there. And we focus on, whatever we focus on is the one that is prominent in our minds, but that's only in our minds. The thing is just the thing, and whether it's substantial or insubstantial comes from our relationship to it. So let's stand up and we'll explore the self-training Jin. Let's begin by establishing our 3 pillars. And the 3 pillars are central equilibrium, that is our relationship to the earth and the heavens, and it allows us to access the big chi. Our energetic coherence, which then unifies the whole body-mind into one system, one unified system. And then there's unkinking the hose, which is removing extraneous muscular tension, which blocks the movement of energy throughout the body. And any kinks in the hose tend to weaken us energetically. So we begin with establishing our central equilibrium. Feel you want to feel the 3 nails on each foot. That is the 3 energetic nails, and along the big toe line of the foot, on the inside of the foot, your medial line. So that's where you want your center of gravity to be primarily. It's spread throughout your whole foot, but it's primarily along the inside of the foot, medial line. And the 3 nails are the heel, the ball of the foot, and the big toe. So just get comfortable with those 3 points. You can kind of shift between them, just kind of feel them, and bring the spotlight to each one. The main idea here is you're establishing your connection there along the inside of your foot. And just for grins, why don't you just bring your weight just to the outside of your foot, and notice what an adjustment that is to put your weight along the little toe line and the lateral part of the foot, and notice that creates a lot of tension to do that, and it disrupts your root. But bring it back now to the 3 nails along the big toe line, and notice that there's a substantiality to this. It kind of creates this sense of being very grounded, rooted. And so now we're going to go into the heel nail, and this allows us to access the yin part of it. And so just bend the knees a little bit, just unlock the knees, and feel yourself sinking down into the earth. And this allows us to access the yin chi of the earth. Another name for what we call rooting. Rooting is an energetic connection with the earth. And so being very aware of this energetic connection then allows us to regulate our root. And feel that get nice and sung. You want to relax into your structure, into your connective tissue system primarily. Now reach up at the crown of your head, tuck in your chin, and open up the jade pillow gate at the base of your skull. And this allows the energy to be uninhibited as it moves up your spine and into your brain. same time you're reaching up the crown of the head, you're opening up the Bai Hui point at the top of the head. So we're making a distinction here between the crown of the head, which is around the posterior fontanelle, and we're talking about the Bai Hui, which is at the very top of the head. And this allows the yang qi of the heavens to fill up your body. And so we get this mingling of the earth qi and the heaven qi, the yang and the yin. So we're filling up the tank before we do anything. You're relaxed, feel yourself getting very, very sung. You're dropping down and letting go of muscular tension, while at the same time, gently reach for the crown of your head. We're opening to the big chi. And you may already notice some response in your hands and your fingers, as you'll get some tingling, pulsings. Now reach with your index fingers. You can wiggle them a little bit. You just want to feel into that. So there's a sense of very gently reaching. And this activates your energetic coherence. You're connected. It activates your connective tissue system. So it not only does it create this state of energetic coherence, but it activates the tensegrity of your connective tissue system, which gives your body this kind of whippy, resilient energy. Reach with your elbow and open up your shoulder joints. So here we're unkinking the hose by creating some space in the shoulder joints. And feel the energy amplifying even more in your hands as you do that. Go into the balls of your feet. Now we're activating the yang qi. Press down a little bit with the big toes and feel your center over the balls of your feet. Kind of like you're on a diving board. You're feeling that sense of, it's almost a little precarious. You're right there at the tipping point. But it's actually, it feels precarious, but it's actually the strongest position for energetically for your body. Now, let's unkink the hips, the quad, and spiral down and turn, and just nice and easy. You're just releasing the hip joint, releasing the muscles there, releasing your butt muscles, relaxing your lower back. And feeling nice and soft there. And this allows the chi from the earth to rise and connect up with your torso. It goes through this gate here at the inguinal crease. And then pause here and just feel into that and just feel that connection there. Feel the chi getting amplified. And you also feel your blood circulating. Now, there's last week we talked about really allowing your arms to get very sung, and the idea was that you pick up your wrist with your other hand. In this case, my left hand is picking up my right wrist, and I want that arm to be so relaxed to begin just so that it just drops when I let go of it. I pick it up and it just drops. Okay. And then we pick it up and point and gradually let go and point and reach and just keep your arm in that position using the least amount of energy. And now you just feel that. Now just gently push down on your arm, but as you push down, point and reach a little bit more. And so as we do that, we notice that the arm is able to withstand a tremendous amount of force from the other hand. We gradually increase that. And as you increase it, you can feel the finger a little more. But the idea is you're not using your shoulder. Notice that my elbow is completely dropped here. My shoulder is completely out of the question here, out of the picture. And then I release that and just feel that. Now I want you to notice something here very, very important, and that is notice that my wrist is bent. And there's something I talk about a lot. I say, okay, reach up with your wrist, and then reach with your fingers. And as often as I tell people that, if I just say, okay, lift your arm, they'll lift with, they'll lift like this or like this, and with the fingers extended. And I want you to just feel right now, notice the difference here. Just pick up reach with your hand and with your fingers extended and just pick that up and just notice, maybe even reach out a little farther. So just notice the tension that you have in your arm as you do that. And then bring that down. Now this time, relax your wrists so that your fingers are just sort of hanging. Now just reach up with your wrist and see if you notice a difference there. And then reach out with the fingers and notice a difference there in the shoulder tension as you do that. And just drop your wrist or drop your fingers and notice that, and then pick up and notice the difference there in that. And one thing, one thing you can try, you don't have to do it right now, but if you have like a small weight like this, and I pick up my arm like this, and it feels pretty heavy, even though it's a small weight. It's only like a 3-pound weight. I really feel the muscles working very hard there. I put that down. I'm going to try it with bend my wrist and I extend it out, and it's pretty effortless whenever I do it that way. And I bring that down and I do it with the fingers. And it's actually kind of hard. I feel it in my shoulders. I do that. I do it like this and no problem. And then I finish it off like this, no problem. It's because I have not been using this long lever to start at the shoulder there to make that work. What happens here, if I bend at the wrist, then it's segmented, the motion, so it's coming up and it's much stronger and much more powerful because it's energetically connected. So just try that right now. Just bring your arm up with your fingers extended and just put a light pressure on your wrist as you bring it up here, and just notice how easy it is to collapse that arm. And then bend your wrist, point with your index fingers, and then try it that way. And notice that it's significantly more powerful, but also with much less effort whenever you have that wrist bent. So the motion then is like this to create that Peng. You can do it like that, no question, but you're kinking the hose as you do that. Try it with your other hand. Do it with the fingers extended. Lift your arm up and press down, and notice how it's really easy to push down on your arm. Whereas if you bend your wrist and reach up, and notice you can kind of power through that much more easily. And that's because we're moving in the direction of Jin whenever we do this, and it looks soft and delicate and very nice, and it is, but the irony is it's much more powerful. And so getting this motion, just try that in different directions, just bring the fingers finishing off last, and notice how easy it is to move that way and to get your shoulders out of the picture. And the key here is to make it part of your daily life, that you're having that kind of ease of movement. Introduce that so that you're rewiring your nervous system so that it becomes the default setting on your movement. And as a result, you're going to have less shoulder tension and also less wear and tear on the shoulders, because whenever there's tension and you're powering through that, there's things are rubbing against each other, and it creates deterioration in the shoulder joint. And this way you have it's more of an effortlessness in your movement. So that's what we're talking about with Jin. We want to create this power and without a lot of muscular force. And but you can test it yourself, and you can train yourself by going into different positions. So last week we went into a ward-off position. So I'll do it this way. So I have my left arm in front of my chest, so the palm is right here, dead center. My arm is very relaxed, and I'm coming up with my wrist bent, right? My fingers are hanging, I come up here, and then I finish like that. So what happens is I've disconnected my shoulder by doing that. My shoulder muscles are not the major player in this equation, in this operation. So they're just happening. And consequently, I'm able to have that up and out Peng Jin, that Peng energy is able I'm able to express it that way. And reach out with your fingers, go up with your fingers locked in place, right? Go up like this and go like that. And then just push in on it with your other hand, and notice what that does to your shoulder muscles as you do that, if you push in really hard with that. Now do it with the wrist bent, fingers come up, reach out, point, and now notice how that you have this connection. The tensegrity of your body is taking over and giving you that power. So you don't have to work nearly as hard. You've disconnected from your shoulder muscles as you do that. The shoulder muscles are still there. They're just happening. They're being used in a passive way. They're not the active driver in this arm coming up. They are just a way of delivering the energy. They're an energy delivery system. Okay, so we do that. So you test it by doing that. So now we're going to go on to Lu Jin, and the idea here is that we're going to come down like this, right? The idea is we sink into the back foot and turn. We're going from, let's say we're going from our ward-off posture, we turn, reach out, and we sink into the back leg and turn. So there's several things that are in play here. We're going to keep it real simple. At first, we just want to come in, and let's just focus on the forward arm here. In my case, it's my left arm, so I'm going to call it my left arm. And you can, if you're the other way around, just translate it for yourself. But the idea here is I'm sinking in, I'm turning, I set my elbow, and this hand is just very gently coming down, right? Is pressing down like this. So the energy, the direction of the chi is like this for this movement. It's like as if I'm bringing something down. So if I can test this, I point, and as I turn, I reach with my other hand there, and I'm going to just direct that down. If I'm using my muscles as I do that, if I'm just trying to push down, it's very easy for me to interrupt that flow with my other hand. But if I'm feeling that tensegrity and I'm coming down, I reach with my elbow and I press down, it's quite irresistible, that force that is directed through the body there. You have this internal power that makes that happen. So the other hand is coming down, and it's same idea. You're reaching with your elbow and expressing down. So this is a backhand coming down. So the energy, you're coming down. This is a forehand, and this one is a backhand. So it's as I'm coming down. If I just try to use my muscles to do that, nothing's happening. But if I point and I reach with my elbow and my wrist as I'm coming down, then it's very powerful, right? It's quite irresistible whenever I do that. But the main thing is you're testing it and just getting an internal sense of what it means to use internal power. So if we take it back to the ward up, the first thing we're doing is this with the left hand. So we're here at this ward up posture, and I'm setting my elbow. I'm going to just turn my body, but my elbow is staying in the same relationship with my arm, with my body, but just from my forearm. Notice how I'm locking in here. My forearm is coming out like this. So, and here I'm reaching with the wrist and I'm finishing with the fingers. Reach with the wrist, finish with the fingers. And just try that with the hand just straight, the fingers straight, and just notice that nothing's happening. But if I reach with the wrist, finish with the fingers, and coming from the elbow, so it's like this, it's an unfolding to get to that place. So if I'm here like this, the arm stays and my hand comes out, wrist, fingers, and wrist, fingers. So it's that same idea there, that unfolding that occurs. It's a graceful movement, but it's filled with Jin, filled with internal power. And so the energy from this is and we add to this, set the knee, we're going to just turn the body like this as we do that. We kind of spiral down into that left quad as we do that. So we set the elbow and we open. Set the elbow and open. Boom, boom. So right there's that bending from the wrist and open. So this, now just reach out there and try to pull back with your other hand and notice that it's not going anywhere. It's rock solid. That's because you've created the structure. Your internal power is supported by your body mechanics in this case. So you have the body mechanics are allowing the internal power to be expressed in the most efficient way possible. It's not to say you can't create internal power in other ways. You can. But this is a really clean, graceful, effortless way of doing it. And it kind of supports my vision of what Taiji should be. So we're here like this. We're turning and we're opening like that with that hand. This hand is going from here, and it just rotating like this. And this is a crazy little thing here too with this movement. And that is, you just, that little turn there, that rotation of the forearm, my elbow is set and my forearm rotates. And so as I turn, I'm just rotating that forearm like this. So I'm going like this with my hand. So, and just feel that too. If you try to rotate your forearm just using your muscles, notice that it's not going anywhere. But if you point the finger and you set your elbow and use your chin, then this turning motion becomes incredibly powerful. You get this very strong torque. There's just this it's a very short but very powerful energy that gets expressed there. So in the side we're sinking to the left leg. I'm going to sink into my left leg and set my left elbow, reach my left wrist, and reach out the fingers. My right hand just rotates around. So I'm ending up looking like this, looking into the corner. But you can see the hands are not collapsed like this. They're parallel. And so they end up, my right palm is facing my left elbow. So I'm looking like this. And your form may be a little different, but the principles are still the same. I don't care what form you're using. The principles are still the same. You get your body mechanics to support your chin, and and test everything. And so this is the way you can test it yourself. Also, one thing that coming in here and the arm going across your body like this. So a lot of people they'll go like this, and the arm will come across like that, and that will collapse your energy as well. So you want to as you turn, the arm it's just rotating. It's not really changing in its position with regard to your torso. But if it crosses the body, just feel that. This is another way of testing that. Just your body crossing that, just kind of push against that and notice that you have nothing. There's no power there. Whereas if you don't cross the center line, you're coming across like this, then you're rock solid. So this is all this information is a hard won lessons to push hands. Particularly doing it competitively, and just realizing what's powerful, what's not, what gets the job done, and what's just looks pretty. And I want it to look pretty and get the job done. So that's how I came up with these ideas here. So we're going like that. Okay, and we sink back, and now we're going to what? We're going to set the elbow here and relax the wrist and finish. And coming down and finish. Your arm, you're reaching out. It's kind of like that. It's very soft. You're moving down here like this, and you finish like that. The left arm, set the elbow, and you're coming down, reach with it, bend the wrist and straighten out. So we have this. I've given you a lot here, but it's all coming around the same idea here. And you're going to have to explore it on your own using this resistance from your other hand, or better yet, a partner who will provide the same service for you. But the key here is that by doing so, you get to see how this works in your particular form. So let's do this as a two-step exercise. We're going between the Peng, ward off, and the Lu of rollback. And we're just going to kind of go back and forth between them. and I'll talk you through it. Don't worry too much about getting everything perfect. I just want you to get the feeling of this internal power that comes with the relaxed arms. Okay. And it's really ironic, how much stronger you are when you have these soft hands, but you kind of need to have your body mechanics support your movements. Just saying, relax your arms is not going to do it. Okay. It's like you have no power. But if you can align the joints in the correct way so that the energy moves through them and you're feeling the tensegrity of the whole system, then you're going to get somewhere. Okay, so let's do the ward off and so that we're going to sink into your left foot and set your left elbow, reach out, wrist, fingers, right arm rotates, right forearm, and then sink into your right heel, spiral down to the left, and then turn. And as you do that, your wrists are very soft as you're coming down, and then extend. And feel that reach out, open your joints, open your shoulders, your elbows. You're reaching out and feel the energetic connection that comes with that. Now sink into your left heel. Reach with your left elbow. Relax your wrist. Turn. And your right wrist also relaxes. You turn and then extend your fingers as you get to your ward-off posture. And just feel into that. Reach with your elbows and open the joints. Feel that yang expansion there. And then sink into your left heel. Spiral down to the left. This is a soft yin posture. We're opening that arm, relaxed wrist, then reach with the fingers. Right hand rotates. Then you're sinking your left foot. Reach with both elbows. Relax your wrist as you're coming down. Turn and reach with the fingers. Roll back and sink. Bend your wrists. Reach with your elbows. Your wrists come up. Very relaxed. Sink in your left heel, left ball, turn, and reach with the fingers. Open your joints. Feel the tensegrity of the whole system. Feel the Peng Jin, the up and out energy. And sink with your left heel, turn. Relax it with the soft wrists, reach with the fingers, reach with your right heel, sink with your right heel, into your right heel, reach with your elbows, and turn, soft wrists, and reach and open. And then just go around and just extend your finger and just kind of pull against your arm there, your forward arm. Just notice how powerful that is, or try it the other way. Push against it, and just notice as you're extending out, it's become very powerful. Same thing with this hand. This hand is coming down like this, and it's moving that direction, right? So we're going to pull against that, and just feel how powerful that is. And then we sink and turn, reach, wrists are soft, turn and open. Extend. Pause a moment here and just feel into your feet. You want to feel the three nails, primarily in your left foot right now. That's your substantial leg. So you want to have that, feel that ball of the foot and the big toe kind of pressing down there. Reach with both elbows, and you're feeling the expansiveness of this posture. And now we're going to sink into the left heel and get soft. And wrists are soft and open. Sink into your right heel and turn. On the ball of your foot, reach with the fingers, open. And sink into your left heel. Hands come up, wrists are soft, and turn, and you're open. Now I'm going to do it without a minimum of discussion here. I just practice this and see what you feel. See if what comes up in terms of explanation you might need. When we get to the Q&A part, you can just see what works here. Good. And relax your arms and step back and just stand there for a moment. Reach out with your elbows. Feel your three pillars. And just feel the energy in your arms and your hands. Feel it circulating throughout your body. And this is what you want each time you do your Taijiquan. You want to feel this throughout your whole form. This kind of internal power. This is what makes it substantial for you, that it's dependable. And you carry yourself throughout your life differently when this becomes part of you. There's a sense of confidence that comes with having this much internal energy. Eat the chi. And sink into your right foot, step in. Take a deep breath, go into the balls of your feet, arms come up. Feel the yang expansion. Now sink into your heels and feel the yin. Throw away the chi. Dissolve into the emptiness. Please have a seat. Was all that clear? Was it any questions about what I'm talking about there? Scott.
It's a good reminder about the beginning of rollaway to, that the turn of the hand, and because that's something that I generally just kind of mush together. So it's definitely helpful, and definitely I could feel the difference doing it that way. I thought it was pretty clear. Everything was pretty obvious.
Great. Good. Good. Debbie, you had something?
Basically what Scott said, and then also the reminder to keep your elbow fixed in space in relation to your body. That I noticed that I had not been doing that in my normal practice. So good reminder.
Yeah. Can you feel the difference in the power?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Good. Good.
And the power and just the flow of energy throughout everywhere.
Great. Great. Yeah, because if you move your elbow around, your shoulder becomes the fulcrum in the operation, and then you start to kink the hose. Good. Scott.
Also, we happen to have 3-pound weights handy, so we were
Okay.
doing with the weights, and it really is. You really can
You can
tell the
really
difference.
feel the difference there, right? So
It's a big difference. Yeah.
good, good. So these are little tests that we can do for ourselves to, clarify, because, a lot of times our teachers will tell us to do it a certain way, and it's the way they learned it, from their teacher, or the way they figured out along the way, but it may not be the most efficient way. And so it's our responsibility to test each thing out, and come to our own conclusions.
I never heard that. I think I ever heard before the part where you were saying about how, press, push, and single whip are right repeated in just about every form. I never really understood it. That was because they were trying to beat it into your head. I just thought it was a good way to get from one point to another. I thought it was a good transition.
But no, they're the foundation. There are eight energies that are emphasized in Taiji, and 4 of them are considered primary and 4 are considered secondary. And the 4 ones are Peng, Lu Jin, the four gates. So that's, you're gonna, in a long form, you're gonna see it a whole bunch of times. That they call it the grass sparrow's tail or grass bird's tail sequence. Because it's something that it's a common process. Cool. Anybody else? Valerie.
Well, not sure what was so different tonight. I mean, as we know, we have almost a different body from breakfast to dinner, the way we feel ourselves. But this was so very clear to me tonight. I mean, not that the other nights haven't been clear, but tonight was, I don't know, so simple and so straightforward, at least in my mind today, that it was really cool to be able to experience that, and to comprehend and to feel it. And I've got a partner here who can push on me, but I'll smack him if he pushes. So
it's too common in relationships.
Keep the wrist loose when you do that, though, right?
So it's really such a nice bonus to be able to feel that and that difference. And I know I'm beating a dead horse, but with my torn rotator cuff, it takes nothing for me to feel that tension in my shoulder, because there's a muscle that is no longer in operation. And when I try to muscle it and use my shoulder, it's like, no bueno, nope, nope, nope. So this is, it pinpoints it even, not that I want anybody else to ruin their shoulder, but it becomes so much more obvious. I can't help that it's obvious when I tense that shoulder up. I keep trying, but it doesn't feel very good. So yeah, great lesson tonight. Very, very good.
Beautiful. Cool. Yeah, for me too. I've had shoulder problems going back 40 years, and a lot of this is just strategies that I've developed to get around the fact that things are not working optimally in there. So it's just like, okay, what's a workaround that I can do here to be able to keep doing what I like to do, but get around that pain, which I don't like so much. Cool. Okay, anybody else? John.
I thought tonight was a great explanation, a great verbal explanation that helped me to understand this. But I would say the last 3 or 4 weeks, which is the time that I've been here, has totally changed my practice. I mean,
Oh, fantastic.
what I do,
Fantastic.
you know, it's just like you hit these levels where all of a sudden you just jump up and you realize what you didn't realize before.
Beautiful.
And it's I can feel it in the form that I'm doing every day, every morning, and I'm doing this kind of the central equilibrium and the energetic. I do that exercise first before doing the form, and it's just totally transformed everything for me. It's great.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. It's great. Okay, anybody else? All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you,
Thank you.
producer.
Love you,
Thank you,
Maria.
Maria.
I love you guys.
Bye-bye.